Did you know that this simple game can change the way you think about life? Yes, you heard it right, folks. Our favorite childhood board game, the one that will last for hours, Monopoly, holds all the secrets to achieving whatever you please in life. So my favorite strategy is to go through every single property, whatever I land on, I buy it, I build the monopolies, I build up greenhouses, then red houses, I collect my rent, and then I win. And that same tactic is used by many others. I mean, it's obvious. If you don't have any hotels or greenhouses, the simple $8 that you get from rent on your property won't bankrupt anybody in the game. In order to win the game, you have to build up monopolies bigger and faster than your opponents. So many of us can agree that this is the strategy that you have to use in order to win a monopoly. But if we can all agree on it, then how come not many of us are implementing it into our real life? How is it that so many of us can spit out hundreds of dollars buying properties in Monopoly, but we are scared of even putting a few dollars into a penny stock? It's this phenomenon called financial abstraction. Everybody would spend a $100 Monopoly bill in a second, but people would think a few times before spending a 20. Back in 2015, Adam Carroll did a study on his children who were frequent players of Monopoly. His daughter didn't really care for the game and just tried to get chances in community chests. One of his sons would buy the big properties like Boardwalk and Park Place and then build up monopolies on those, and then his other son would buy every single thing he landed on. Adam decided to do an experiment, and he actually replaced all of the game money Monopoly with 10,000 US dollars. When the children played that game with the real money, his daughter did her same strategy and was the first one to go bankrupt. The one son that bought every single property he landed on stopped doing so and only purchased properties based on where his brother was on the map. And then the other son that would build big monopolies up on Boardwalk and Park Place, he decided to only build up monopolies on Mediterranean and Oriental Avenue. When his dad asked why, the son just said, well, they're more affordable properties. That son was so attached to the dollar that he couldn't dish it out hardly as easily as the Monopoly money. Well, everyone knows what we have to do in order to win a Monopoly. We have to buy properties to produce cash flow. And the same thing is true for the real world. Although it's not just properties, it's just assets in general, things that produce cash flow. The reason so many people don't purchase these assets is because they're too attached to this. Let me give you guys a personal example. So this right here is a pair of sweatpants for my private label brand that I started called Mackay Strength. And I spent about $2,000 on this brand so far. In fact, the order for these sweatpants alone, with all the bulk quantities I bought of them, it was $1,400 in one payment. And I know there's a lot of kids my age, 16, 17, that would never spend that much money in one go. The reason? They're scared. They still believe money is real. Since they believe that money is real, they're more hesitant to buy things that return the investment. Just like Adam's kids were in Monopoly. They didn't buy Park Place or Boardwalk, even though that's obviously the smartest thing you want to do in Monopoly. Let's also look at my vending machine business. I spent around $600 on all my vending machines and repairing them and just cost of candy or whatever. But again, most kids my age would never spend that amount of money on real assets. And don't get me wrong, I don't throw out money everywhere. I mean, ask my girlfriend, I'm stingy on paying $20 for a meal. But when it comes to income producing assets, I'm willing to spend all my money. And if you guys still aren't following with the whole, money isn't real thing, let me give you an example from Monopoly. So as the game starts, you buy up properties, and then people land on them, you get like $8 rent, $20 rent, all the good stuff, just a little bit of money. And then let's say you have Oriental Avenue, and you decide to keep it and not buy anything else. But while that's going on, all your friends are buying up properties and building up monopolies. Their rent is going from $8 to $100 to $200, all the way up to $1,500. Someone lands on your property, they're not going to care about the $8 they have to give you because they'll be paying $1,500 to somebody else. Now let's look at the money differences between you, the person that only has Oriental Avenue, and then the other players that have properties and monopolies all over the map. Obviously, you would still have your starting cash, a little more, a little less, depending on what you land on, and then also a little less because you bought that one avenue. And the other players that have monopolies, you see, they might have a little less money than you, because they spend all of their savings into houses, which produce them cash flow. Do you see the point I'm trying to make here? If you were to land on somebody's property that had a hotel, you'd be bankrupt. If they were to land on your property on Oriental Avenue, it'd be like losing a penny for them. So sitting around and not spending any of your money on, real estate, stocks, or any asset you prefer is like the example we gave with the person that only buys Oriental Avenue. They're saving all this money, but if one thing goes wrong, if they land on somebody else's apartment, they're bankrupt. Along with that, if someone lands on theirs, they get pretty much nothing in return. That's why you have to stop being so stingy when it comes to spending your money on assets. Think of this as no better than this. You need to buy assets to produce cash flow. Hopefully my example stuck with you guys. Remember, this is no better than this when it comes to buying assets. If you guys have a question or anything to add to the conversation, go ahead and leave a comment down below. Leave a like, it'll also be appreciated. Go ahead and subscribe down here, and then check out a video to the left or right of me. I don't know where, but there's some of my old videos. And yeah, this is Austyn Hustles, and I'm out.